Garry Kelly. Your music, your station. Your music, your station. Galway Bay FM.
Just to prod at you a bit, Enda, as well. At the start of the movie, we follow one character who goes into a cell with another, and for the first half an hour of the movie or so, we follow them and their journey along, and I suppose their null relationship. Yeah. And then we kind of switch over to Bobby Sands then or so in a canteen. Yeah. And we follow Bobby Sands on for the rest of the movie, and there's no other interaction with these other two previous characters that we're following all along. Is that an editorial decision that came in?
No. It came in. It came in from, it was my initial sort of idea that I really wanted this maze idea, and I thought, well, I just want to get closer and closer to this character, but I also want to leave people behind. It begins to sort of distill. We know that we're getting closer and closer, but then you begin to think, where are they? What are they doing? You know, like, where are they? And it's basically they're an integral sort of part of his story, but it's, as he sort of, you know, I mean, the last third is his hunger strike, and it's primarily him and his orderly who's looking after him. And it was important that we just sort of leave those men behind, that this is another stage of this man's life, and, you know, they're no longer needed for him. And so it you know, in the writing of it, it sort of came clear to us. I thought, no, they're done. They've served the function, and they've served the function for Bobby Sands, you know, and now we must leave them, you know.
It reminded me of the early days of filmmaking, where it was a short shoot and everyone just kind of, you know, picked up the bits and pieces and worked together and helped everybody out. A very intense shoot, but really just got the whole idea of what filmmaking essentially is about. Yeah.
Well, again, I mean, like, I mean, hats off to sort of Steve McQueen. I mean, he is quite an extraordinary character. I mean, he's very unusual, lovely man, very human man, you know, but he's sort of, he basically, he just allows people to sort of get on and really trust them. And this is a man who's never collaborated before, so it's really weird. You know, he's an artist, so he's always just done his own thing, and he's an incredibly, you know, internationally famous artist, so he can do whatever the hell he wants to do, you know, it's one of those sort of things. And yet, you know, here he was sort of collaborating, you know, with a bunch of people and a playwright, for God's sake, and, you know, with his own ego, and yet, you know, he was very, very, very giving and really allowed just people deliver their best work, you know.
This is it, because I should say, in case that kind of seems like a sort of generic lead into what you're going to say, I mean, someone who should get lots of praise as well is Liam Cunningham, because one of the scenes, is it 17 pages long or something? It's
a 17-minute shot,
17-minute static shot of just an absolute powerful performance by Liam Cunningham, and even if people aren't familiar with, you know, him as a household name, they certainly recognise him straight away when they see him on the screen. And he was in The Wind Shakes the Barley, and himself, Michael Fassbender.
That's right.
It's just a static shot, but you don't. Well, I suppose you probably like it anyways, because it is so much like theatre. You're drawn in by the actors, but it shows that, you know, McQueen knows directing in the sense of just simplicity as well. When you have a good dialogue and two strong actors, or two actors who probably never were given the opportunity to show how strong they can be.
I know. I mean, God,
cinema.
I was amazed. I mean, like, I think it's the longest shot in cinematic history now. For like it was, I think originally the player was, but it's not, it's a 17-minute static shot. I mean, it's quite an extraordinary thing, and as Liam says himself, it was like a sphincter sort of tightening experience, because, you know, the camera's rolling, you know, it costs money, and if you fluff up, then they've got to start again. So I think the guys lived with one another for, you know, 5 days, and they basically did it about 10 times a day.
Yeah.
You know, the scene just over and over and over again. So it was in their bones, and yet still, you can imagine the pressure on them, you know, all that type of thing. But I think, you know, I'm not too sure how it was shot. Someone said, I don't know if it's true, that they put the camera on, and Steve just sort of, like, you know, told everyone to leave the room, and they just got on with it.
Yeah, they were trying to explain it to me, because there's only a certain amount of time on reels.
That's right. Yeah. There's certain amount of time on reels. I mean, I've no idea, but it's sort of. I mean, the film is primarily, you know, it's silent in the first third, really, and then there's this avalanche of sort of dialogue and words, and again, you know, the notion was, like, as an audience, we're really, really, really demanding it and wanting to hear it. and it was in fact it was the easiest write. That middle section was the easiest. The first third was a very, very difficult write, but the middle was really easy and a real relief for me just to get these two men finally talking. But yeah, I mean, I'm with you, with Liam Cunningham. I've known Liam work for ages, and but I was like, when I saw it, I was going, oh my God Almighty, this is an incredible performance. I mean, Michael's amazing, you know, he's a young actor, but it's when you see a sort of an actor that you think you know, and then you go, oh my God, I really don't know him.
Well, as a writer as well, you must feel really proud to just see something that you've written, interpreted so well, performed so well, and directed so well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfect,
yeah, no,
it's
no,
perfect
no,
on the CV during this times of recession, you know. Just finally talking about Hunger, what is the overall reaction being? Because, as I said, I did see it in Cork when yourself and Liam Cunningham were up on stage afterwards to get a Q&A from the audience.
Oh God, you know what, Gary? And I know it turned into this farce. I was actually deaf. I had the flu and I couldn't hear anything. And I was so angry that I couldn't hear anything. So, I mean, I really sort of regret, but for your listeners, it got really, really heated. And I think there were a couple of sort of Sinn Féiners in there who got really upset that we were actually sort of being quite jovial. And in fairness, you know, to them, they'd actually just experienced the film and we didn't even watch it. And, you know, so for anyone sort of watching, it does take a long time to sort of come down from it. So I think that poor man, you know, was really, really upset that we weren't feeling his pain.
Yeah. Well, I mean, myself and my own group of people that I was with, and many others that I actually met on the night, because the movie finished up at around 10:30. We had all planned to go out for dinner. Needless to say, dinner was cancelled. So, if any, you know, those who are planning to go to Hunger, don't plan to go out eating afterwards.
No.
One thing that I did find strange, though, was during the movie, not to give too much away, but there's a part when an RUC officer is shot dead.
Yeah.
And there was actually tissues of laughter from a certain amount of people, maybe 3 or 4.
He's a prison officer, actually.
Prison officer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, I've probably given it away. And you were good, but yeah, that's appalling. That's absolutely appalling. But there you go. Some people are going to be like that.
So, although we would like to think that now it has come to a stage where we can tell stories like this, unfortunately, there is some strange points of view out there to this day.
Yeah.
And you've done absolutely fantastic in your playwriting, as we all know, because we've had you on the radio a good few times as well with all the work you're doing with Trude. Congratulations, you got an award there in Edinburgh Festival.
Yeah. For the new Electric Ballroom, yeah.
And the Walworth Farce is back.
Yeah, it's back, which is great. It's in the National Theatre over here in London, and so we're coming back, and we're going to do dates in Galway and then Dublin. So, but absolutely delighted because, you know, Galway experienced the Walworth Farce, I think, 2 years ago in its sort of infancy, and you know, like, it's a crazy piece, but now it's actually, well, because it's been done in New York and and all over the place now, but now it's got this power that I can't even believe. I'm going, holy God, look at these actors, you know. And the thing about Druid is like, and everyone knows this, like, you know, this stage, but they deliver an incredible production. So for any writer to be sort of working with, you want to work with them, right? Because from everyone, from like everyone in the company, like, you know, sort of, you know, scenic designers, anything, you know, like, they just do the best work. So I'm just delighted. I'm so happy now. It's going to come back into the Town Hall Theatre, and
it is hard to believe it was 2 years ago that it premiered here in Galway. So it's going to be here in the Town Hall Theatre in the city on December the 3rd to the 6th. Yeah. And for those who haven't seen it, definitely do go out and see it. And what's the next plan of action?
Well, there's a director called Hideo Nakata who made The Ring.
All right.
And he's up for directing a film of mine called Chat Room, which was initially a play, very tiny play, but it's been sort of developed by Film 4 and Ruby Films into this psychological thriller that I've written. So that is the next thing. I think it's going to shoot in spring. But that'll be the next thing.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
And it's been an absolute delight talking to you this evening, and all credit to you. I mean, the work that you're sending us out is fantastic. I would certainly recommend that people go and see the movie Hunger. Enda Walsh, thank you very much for your time.
Absolute pleasure, Gary.